Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Social media bill, as well as bill to amend the Electoral Act 2010, passes second reading in the Senate. Candidate of the PDP in the Kogi West Senatorial Rerun poll, Dino Melaye, seeks cancellation of the election as he submits petition and 21 videos as evidence to INEC. Federal government confirms arrest of the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Mohammed Adoke in Dubai, says fight against corruption is on course. And things get messier for US President Donald Trump as US Ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, informs impeachment inquiry that Trump pressured Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. For more information on our top stories and others, do visit our website, channelstv.com. youtube.com/channelsweb has videos of our shows. There you see pictures of a shopping complex known as Super Plaza, located in the Surulere area of Lagos, has been gutted by fire. It was gathered that the fire, which is believed to have been triggered by a power surge, consumed a part of the building with goods worth millions of naira destroyed. Emergency workers from the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, as well as the Federal and Lagos Fire Services, have managed to put out the fire. The police are also said to be on the ground to avert the looting of goods from the plaza. A sad one indeed there. In the meantime, the Assets Management Company of Nigeria, AMCOM, says it's a victim of some fraudulent activities and stands to lose over 12.9 billion naira, which is a judgment debt belonging to all Nigerians. At a press conference held in Lagos today, AMCOM's lawyers said while reviewing claims by third parties in respect of properties at the Victory Park estate in Lekki, they found that some of the purported instruments of transfer were fraudulently executed by persons who had no such authority. AMCOM says it's needed to set the record straight as the result of incessant falsehood, fabrications and half-truths are being bandied about. Now, the Federal Executive Council has approved the payment of $2 million as contribution to the West African Power Pool. The executive decision-making organ also signed off on the payment collateral to secure a 500 million euros credit facility for the Bank of Industry. These are the key outcomes of the council meeting chaired by the President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja. Our correspondent Ibrahim Adra reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, as well as other council members at the Aso Rock chambers. After the commencement formalities, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation draws the attention of members to the demise of Chief Alex Akinyele, a former minister, and Mr. Ofote Kaite, a former SGF. Council stood up for a moment in their honor. Thereafter, members deliberated and approved 5 memoranda, one of which is a contribution to boost regional power supply.
$2 million, that is part of our contribution to West African Power Pool, ISWAP.
It also approves collateral to secure a loan.
Council today approved the issuance of a sovereign guarantee of euro 500 million to Credit Suisse AG London branch and a syndicate of international lenders as a collateral for euro 500 million loan facility to the Bank of Industry.
2 of the approved memos came from the Ministry of Justice, including a blueprint to improve access to justice.
It is a blueprint that sets out a shared vision, objectives, and interventions for the reform of justice sector to engender fair, efficient, and transparent administration of justice.
The Federal Executive Council believes the 500 euros facility to the Bank of Industry will create 1.2 million jobs. From the presidential villa, Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
Well, let's hear more from Ibrahim Adra now. Ibrahim?
Hello, German. Welcome, everyone. Members of the Nigerian Governors Forum are currently meeting in Abuja at the Forum Secretariat, reportedly over deductions for the 614 billion budget support facility provided by the federal government. The governors are also to receive briefing from Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State on the state's fiscal transparency, accountability and sustainability. In August 2019, the federal government began talks to finalize the modalities for repayment of 614 billion naira budget support facilities loaned to 35 states by the Central Bank of Nigeria. According to the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, the Federal Executive Council had agreed to set up a team comprising of representatives of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Ministry of Finance and the CBN to conclude the process. Several leaders of the Islamic State of West Africa province ISWAP have been reportedly killed in airstrikes carried out by the Air Task Force ATF of Operation Lafia Dole at Jibrilaram in northern part of Borno State. A statement from the Nigerian Air Force spokesman says the operation was carried out yesterday, November the 19th, following intelligence reports that some top ISWAP leaders had assembled for a meeting at a compound within the settlement. It says the ATF dispatched an intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance aircraft as well as fighter jets to attack the location where the terrorists allegedly stole some of their logistic supplies. According to Air Force spokesman, several fighters spotted around the buildings in the middle of the settlement were neutralized in successive airstrikes as they attempted to flee the location. The airstrikes also destroyed some of the terrorist structures, including one of their logistics stores. While still on security, the UN representative and Secretary General to the West Africa and Sahel, Mr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, is calling for a more integrated approach for tackling insecurity in the Sahel region. Mr. Ibn Chambers, who was the guest speaker at the Course 3 graduation lecture of the Army War College in Abuja, asked the military to ensure that its operations have a human face. And the president of the Nigeria Association of Petroleum Explorationists, Mr. Ajibola Oyebamiji, has joined the growing calls for the speedy passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill to ensure clear rules for all stakeholders, attract investment and make business thrive. Mr. Oyebamiji, who was speaking at the 37th NAPE conference in Lagos, goes on to say that the nation's reserves and production targets will be very difficult to meet if the uncertainty continue.
Most of the personalities in this room, professionals in the oil and gas sector, are the brains behind exploration and production activity in Nigeria and beyond. They have come together under the aegis of Nigeria Association of Petroleum Explorationists, and it's the 37th annual edition. Technology has interrupted the way of life in all spheres of endeavor, and that perhaps underscores the theme of this year's conference: expanding Nigeria's petroleum landscape, digitalization, innovation, and emerging new technologies.
An effective knowledge management solution that will help to eliminate the risk of losing access to information resources in the crush of data, or losing individual knowledge when people leave the organization and take their knowledge with them, is needed in our industry today as we go on the journey to digitalization. The Nigerian petroleum industry needs to reintroduce ring-fenced exploration budget as a way to grow current hydrocarbon reserves and increase production. This way, the vision of the federal government and indeed the NNPC to reposition the industry will become a reality.
Despite the lull in exploration activity owing to fiscals, competition, and dwindling oil price, oil is still a relevant commodity.
We need to produce oil very quickly now that we can make use of it. There are new sources of oil. The shale oil is growing, and this is real. And there are also finds in locations that we never expected, in volumes that we never anticipated. This is adding to the available oil resources across the globe, and is going to compete with the production that is going to come from our country. And until we quickly go back to exploration, add these reserves, produce more, so that by 2023, which is our target, to hit the 3 million barrels per day production, that will not be in position to take advantage of that ensuing situation that requires us to go back to exploration very, very quickly and massively.
There's a call also for a new curriculum to accommodate the big data and AI phenomenon.
Exhibiting selflessness in Services Association.
At the event also, distinguished personalities were recognized before all guests moved to the exhibition hall to see displays of innovations and practices. A new executive will be sworn into office later this week.
In our business news, Federation Accounts Allocation Committee shares over 700 billion naira revenue to the 3 tiers of government for the month of October. That's when the news at 10 returns. Do stay with us.